Okay, I don't know if I'm actually gonna, like, upload this, but I'm gonna record it. It's basically just for the purposes of voice training, but, I, I don't know. I just need something to read while I practice my voice and hopefully get it more consistent. It still doesn't feel quite natural to me. I really want to use it in my everyday life, even if it doesn't sound quite the way that I want it to sound. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be progress. So anyway, here we go. It gets so lonely here, which I think is like a spooky and like maybe toxic Yuri type visual novel, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know much about it, but I'm so ready to get into it. So, here we go. You know what? I think whether I upload this or not entirely depends on the subject matter. Just because I'd be okay with um like reading something doesn't necessarily mean I'd be comfortable posting it to my channel. But we'll see. We'll see. You are running through a forest. It is late at night, and the sky is black as pitch. There is nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you, not properly. The trees which surround you, jutting out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. You cannot see where you are going. Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, however. What? Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, however, with the light of the sun to aid you, it would be of little use. You do not know where you are going. You have no map, no route, no plan. You are running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind. You have no desire to run, save to escape. You cannot let yourself be caught. If that were to happen, you are certain that you would be ruined. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going. I read that kind of weird. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going. On and on and on. Through your feet. Tough your feet. Tough your feet? I don't think I've quite heard it phrased like that. Anyway, tough your feet or... What? No, it does say the... Excuse me, I might be dyslexic. I don't know for sure. This doesn't usually happen this bad, but, yeah, it happened this time, so whatever. Though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. See, I can read. You have no idea how long you've been running. Time has begun to blend together. It has lost all meaning. Something sharp snags at the hem of your skirt, but you do not have the luxury to pause and examine what has happened. Instead, you tug. Your skirt tears, the sound splitting through the forest, and you stumble forward with a shocked gasp. Ow, that didn't feel good. Excuse me, I'm gonna try that again. That's better. You are free, but at what cost? Your skirt has become irrevocably damaged. It might be too late to worry about such trivial matters now, though. If you do not start running again, and soon, she will catch you. Who's she? Maybe you should let her catch you, teehee. But then again, the hunt is part of the, fun of it. Then your life will be over. Oh. You do not know if she is still following you, but you do not want to risk looking over your shoulder. If you were to see her silhouetted beneath a tree, looking at you with that sickly, sweet smile which once ensnared you, you would lose what little nerve you possess. Your legs would lock up and your blood would freeze in your veins. Then you would crumple. You would fall, but you would not hit the ground. She would be there to catch you. Did she not promise, when you made that contract, that you would never be alone? You would like to take back that silly wish of yours, but it's too late for that. It is too late for a lot of things. All you can do is run. You run and run and run while icy fog swirls about your feet. It is cold enough to sap the heat from your body, and you shudder from it. It feels as though you are drowning. It feels as though you are being buried alive. Your knees and your shins, meanwhile, are bleeding. You cannot endure much more of this. But if you value your own life, you must. You run and you run and you run until at long last you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths which will split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path down which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though, not when you have put so much effort into running forwards. You can only press on. 3 paths are signposted, which is something of a strange sight given you are so deep in the forest. Dark though it may be, you have grown accustomed to the shadows. You can just about pick out the writing on this old, dilapidated signpost, curved and slanted though it is. Your fate, if you will forgive me for sounding cliché, is in your hands. Now, I wonder, which path will you take? Go to the shore? Well, strategically that doesn't sound like a good option because I'd get trapped. Unless I'm really, really good at swimming or I know there's a boat there that I can escape on, then that might be a bad idea. To the village, that seems like the most reasonable option of the 3. Like, you're gonna find normal people and hopefully they'll be helpful. Yeah, ideally. And then the final one, go to the castle. The castle sounds like it would probably be occupied by royalty, so they're probably not going to be all that sympathetic to someone being like, help, someone's out to get me. They'll be like, okay, that's not really our problem. So, of the 3, strategically, the village sounds the nicest. Just for my own desires, the shore sounds the nicest. And I just don't want to go to the castle at all. I'm going to go with the strategic option, because I don't know if survival is a part of this or something, but this seems like the best bet in my eyes. So you want to go to the village? Good idea. Let us see what further trials await you there. This night is far from over as much as you might wish it was, and there is still much more to discover. I wonder what will happen next. You follow the path which leads you to the village, supporting yourself on weary, aching limbs, which feel ready, at a moment's notice, to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope as you continue to run that you will find a suitable residence in which to rest at the village. You do not know what will await you at the village, but you have visions, as you run, of a quaint, scenic settlement, all thatched cottages and sloping roofs. Sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing. I guess I'm self-conscious. Like, it's really tough to keep this voice up, and I'm having a little trouble reading on top of that. Anyway, surely there will be a kindly peasant who will be willing to put up with a young runaway for a few nights. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly peasant from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. She will be broad-shouldered and ruddy-faced, and with dull brown hair crammed beneath a cap. Her arms will be sturdy from many years of washing clothes and milking cows, but she will be kind to you and compassionate, just like a mother. You do not know what mothers are like. You hardly ever spoke to yours. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Peasants do not, as you know from your voracious reading, have much money, nor do they have much food. It might be hard to convince a resident of the village, even the kindly washerwoman of your fantasies, to take in a complete stranger. Still, you must try. That is all you can do, really. So you run to the village. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you manage it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose its meaning? Maybe. I don't remember that, but I'll trust you, I guess. The forest is behind you now. Why did I say it like that? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It is still cold and still foggy. It is still too dark, too. The sun is yet to rise. I think I'm just gonna have to accept that I'll be reading things weird for the sake of trying to get my voice more comfortable. Okay. I wish I had some. Oh, I do have some water. 1 second. Okay, let's go. You can see the moon more clearly now, though as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the village nestled among the hills like a diorama. Hope, anew, bubbles within you. You have finally made it. Surely not but your salvation awaits you. You follow the winding dirt path to the village, looking this way and that. But your hope, such a precious, fragile thing, soon begins to fade. The village, up close, does not look half as welcoming as you imagined. There are cottages, yes, but they are in a state of disrepair. Oh no. There are holes in the roof and holes in the windows. Most of the doors are tightly shut, but others are gaping open, the kitchens beyond them, even darker than the night sky which shrouds you. There are no lights on in any of the windows, and neither can you see any people, insomniacs like you. Wait, whoa. And neither can you see any people, insomniacs like you, at them. I'm sorry. Am I insane, or is that a weird sentence? There are no lights on in any of the windows, and neither can you see... Oh, at the... Okay, I see. Sorry. Was it weirdly phrased, or did it just take me a minute to recognize the phrase? Whatever. Let's keep going. You cannot hear anything, either beyond the sound of your own footsteps and the low, mournful sighing of the wind. The village is quite quiet, eerily so. It is immediately obvious, even to a naive girl such as yourself, that something terrible must have befallen this village. You know before you try your luck at... Oh my god. You know before you try your luck at one of the houses that nobody will answer you. We might get lucky. There will be no kindly, red-armed washerwoman to welcome you here, no matter how much you wish for it. But that does not stop you from wishing regardless. Your knuckles rap smartly against the wooden door. Your efforts soon prove, however, to be in vain. There is nobody here to hear your entreaties. I don't think I knew that word until now. How very sad. You try another door, then another, but upon... What? Where did I... Oh, okay, upon is beneath. I'm silly. But the result is the same regardless of how many doors you rap upon. Nobody answers. How could they? There is nobody there. Once again, you have found yourself all alone. At least you have found some dwellings in which you can rest your weary head. Will you utilize one of these cottages for your purposes? Nobody is here, you might as well. But no, an abandoned cottage is not what you were looking for. You would far rather have companionship, would you not? Excuse me. Bravely, you swallow your tears. You wipe your eyes with the back of your arm in a well-practiced motion, then inhale. You square your shoulders, and you keep on going. Surely the next village cannot be completely deserted. There must be one person here, at the very least, who can help you. That is what you are thinking as you resume your search. You flit from cottage to cottage with precious little to show for your determination until you make yet another discovery. This village, with its squat thatched cottages bathed in the moon's glow, has a church. Uh-oh, this music might be too loud. Unless I turned it down enough that this sounds okay? I don't know. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelt here were not godless heathens. Not that their faith did them all that much good in the end. Still, the sight of a church soothes your overtaxed heart. Oh, I'm getting a little, what's it called? Fatigued here, mentally. Physically, I think I could keep my voice going for a while, but, oh, that might not even be true anymore. It is getting a little fatigued. I'm still gonna keep going for as long as I can. Here we go. You were so focused on your fantasies of a kindly washerwoman taking you in, you did not pause to entertain the fancy of a kindly nun doing much the same. See, there's opportunities of all kinds around every corner. You just have to be able to see them. All hope is not lost. It's true. You approach the church, which seems to tower over you despite it being so humble. The church is a small one, but it is stout and sturdy. It must be, for it has withstood centuries. Forever standing sentinel? Is that an adjective? Forever standing sentinel on this hill, like a relic from a bygone era. The church does not have any stained glass windows, but it does not need them. Even without more luxurious trappings, the church still exudes an aura of dignified solemnity. I didn't know that word either. The stone building is fringed by a sizable graveyard, one which occupies the rest of the hilltop, and some from sloping sides. The graves, which have been planted by generations of wardens, are hewn from a similar stone to which the church's walls are made of. Some of the gravestones are shaped like lozenges, while others are shaped like crosses. A handful of headstones are even shaped like angels, though these are few and far between. There are very few people in a village such as this one who can afford such luxurious final resting places. Capitalism, am I right? You look at the tombstones with an almost childlike curiosity, forgetting in your examination a visceral heart-rending fear which gripped you as you ran through the forest. You are out of the woods now, and you have subconsciously already begun to relax. You try to read the names of the myriad of tombstones, but it is dark and you are tired, and some of these graves are very, very old indeed. You strain your eyes, but you do not have much luck in this endeavor. Oh well. Such superfluous details are not important. You eventually tire of examining graves in turn. This graveyard is an expansive one, unusually so, given the village itself is so small. How can it boast so many corpses? And there is much to explore. You walk about the perimeter of the church, casting your gaze first here, then there, then everywhere, consumed as you are by your immense all-encompassing curiosity. Girl, me too. I am so curious. And as you do, you see her. She looks like an ordinary girl. Ooh, that came out weird. Small and scrawny, just like yourself. But she is much, much more than her unremarkable appearance might suggest. Is that shovel, like, bent? Or broken or something? For some moments you observe her, hiding all the while in the shadow cast by the church, like a furtive lizard clinging against a rocky edifice trap. Oh no! Well, okay. There is no sunlight here though. Maybe I can... options, maybe? No. Wait. Skip text. Sometimes they have options. They don't though. Sometimes there are options to like see what's been said already, but no such luck. There is no sunlight here though. There is only the night sky and the stars and the moon. Beneath the moon's light, a silvery implement the girl is clutching shimmers. It takes you a few moments to see that what? Excuse me. It takes you a few moments to see what it is the girl is clutching in her hands. It is not until you see her manipulate it, its sharp edge biting into the earth, that you understand. It is a shovel. Oh, a shovel. I've heard of those. This girl is standing in an isolated corner of the churchyard, late at night and she is digging a grave. Well, you suppose she could always be digging a hole for the sake of it, but her work seems much too precise for it to be the result of mere whimsy. It is hard for you to see her face given the distance between the pair of you, but her posture is one that speaks of supreme concentration. She moves slowly, mechanically, like a woman on a mission, driving the end of her shovel into the earth over and over. Her motions are regular enough to be repetitive. There is something hypnotic almost in the manner which she attends this task. Should you risk interrupting her? Do you dare? I need help. You get the feeling that she would not appreciate it. The shovel in her hands, meanwhile, is rather hefty. If she wished it, she could cause you no small amount of damage with it. Cold anxiety makes your skin prickle. You do not know if you should risk speaking to her when she, in her dark cloak with her shovel, looks so very strange. I don't judge people by their appearances. But what do you have left to lose? I mean, your life, as you pointed out. Or your health, I guess. You have come this far. It would be folly to turn back now. It is with this thought that your mind... It is with this thought in your mind that you decide to approach the strange girl. That's what I'm talking about. Your footsteps are quiet. You have grown accustomed to slinking around like a cat. Meow. Meow meow. Meow meow meow. But they are not quiet enough. She heard you. She's gonna kill you. The girl's senses must be finely tuned because she blinks. Then she turns. Your eyes meet, and once they do, you feel your breath catch in your throat. You did not have a clear view of the girl before, concealed as you were in the shadows, but now she looking at you, you can tell that she is pretty. Some of the phrasing in these sentences, like, I'm sure they're grammatically correct, but I'm like, or, I don't know, is that one grammatically correct? Either way, like, I keep getting tripped up by that. Her skin is very smooth, and her hair, though obscured by a dark hood, is very fair. Her eyes, meanwhile, are a clear, cool blue, like ice. Those eyes of hers, which are large and with unease, are fringed with very long, fair eyelashes. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. The shovel she is clutching in her hands looks solid enough, its pointed tip glittering wickedly in the moonlight. You steel yourself, expecting perhaps some sort of outburst, but the tension soon drains from the girl's slender shoulders. Her fingers, which once were gripping the handle of the shovel, tightly relax. Her lips curve upward at the edges. She is smiling, and what a smile it is. It is transformative. When she smiles, she looks radiant, angelic almost. Hers is a smile that is so suffused with light that your eyes begin to prickle from it. You are so relieved you almost feel as if you could cry. It would not be the first time you have wept during the night, and neither would it be too surprising if you did. You have been through a lot. You must be exhausted. The girl holding the shovel seems to realize this because she bridges the distance between you cautiously as one might approach a skittish cat. And then she says, in a rough voice which does not match her dainty appearance, well, she does live in a rural village. What were you expecting? Oh, it's so good to see another person. I was afraid I was the only person left alive. The only one in the world. The whole world, sorry. Now this is quite the effusive greeting. Her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. She is rather more personable than her oh my goodness. I feel like my eyes are getting kind of like... I forget, like... Okay, I'm having more and more trouble, like, focusing, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up pretty soon. She is rather more personable than her apparel would make one suggest. You, a well-bred young lady, cannot help but feel overwhelmed. It is your turn now to be on your guard. Anxiously, you observe the girl with the shovel, and you ask her what she means. What happened? Oh, do you not know? There's an awful lot you do not know. So much, in fact, it would fill a whole encyclopedia. No, a whole library. You shake your head, ashamed at your ignorance, and the girl frowns. You mustn't be from around these parts. I guess I should have known. This village is a small one, and everybody knows everybody else. The girl's expression falls. At least they used to, back when there was still people to know. Sorry. I need to stop apologizing. It's not a big deal. I stumbled over the sentence. That's okay. I got this. At least they used to, back when there was still people to know. That ain't the case now, though. Not after the plague. There was a plague? That would certainly explain why the village, when you walked through it, was so quiet. Did everybody else succumb to this mysterious illness? That's right. It's just me here now. I've not seen another human being in a long, long time. It gets so lonely here. Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? I haven't, ever. Not ever. Not when I was pulling open the game, nope. You do not have much time to ponder this, however, because the girl takes a step towards you. Oh. But where are my manners? They must have gone rusty after being on my own for so long. My apologies, miss. You look like you've come a long way. You said you were a traveler, yes? And your hands are very cold, just like ice. Would you like to come inside? Maybe have something warm to eat and to drink? My home's small, but I'm afraid my food ain't nothing fancy. But I'd be more than willing to share. Does she have like a southern accent? Not every day. It's not every day. Oh my god, I don't know if I can do this right now. It's not every day another girl stops by, especially not one as pretty as yourself. I'm feeling very blessed. Oh my god, I can't do this. The girl laughs, a carefree, airy sort of laugh which does not match your initial impression of her. You thought when you saw her among the graves that she would be more distant somehow and more mysterious. Perhaps you were mixing her up with somebody else. You are still unsure if you can trust this girl, but her invitation is an appealing one. It is much more appealing, certainly, than spending the night outdoors in the cold, kipping on the graves. What are you, a romantic poet? Please. You make a show of pondering this girl's invitation at the very least. You do not want to appear too eager, but your acquiescence is, alas, inevitable. Why would you ever refuse her? She is the first friendly face you have seen all night. Without her, you would be all alone. Your hostess leads you to a small, humble home, located but a stone's throw away from the church, built in the shadows of a twisted, towering sycamore. The girl's home is in such a state it seems folly to even call it a home. Hovel would, to you, be more appropriate descriptor. But when your hostess leads you inside, her eyes alive, and she says, "Wait, what?" But when your hostess leads you inside, her eyes alive, and she says, "Here we are, home sweet home." You don't have the heart to tell her that you don't find her very homey or very sweet. You know what? Be grateful. That would be incredibly rude. Yes, it would. Very correct. As a guest, you ought to be more appreciative. I would say so. Yeah. You're not sleeping outside in the wilderness, so I'd be pretty grateful personally. Half-heartedly, you look around your newfound surroundings. The ceiling is supported by a wooden joist. Joist? I don't think I've heard that word before either. And it is perilously low. Not so much that you are in danger of bumping your head, but just enough to feel claustrophobic. There's a fire in the corner, though. It is not I don't know that word. I've seen it written down, but I've never read it out loud. I think it's consigned? Though it is not consigned to a grate. The fire instead is blazing in the open, a circle of logs set alight like a scene from a witch's kitchen. Above the fire hangs a silvery pot, suspended from one of the wooden eaves. Other objects of interest are hung from the eaves. Iron implements you take to be cooking utensils, various herbs, and strips of meat left to cure. The smell of cooking fills the air, mingled with sharp, sour scent of unwashed bodies. How, you wonder, does your hostess clean herself? You do not see a bathtub anywhere. Perhaps she does not possess one. The girl's home is unremarkable in every regard, but it is, you suppose, better than nothing. Yeah, it's certainly better than nothing. At least there's a roof over your head and food to put in your belly. Okay, I think I'm going to call it here. I'm going to save in slot 1. And I'm going to go to the title and yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. It's a little bit of a slow burn to start with. Things are not progressing very quickly, which isn't a complaint. I just saying, like, I was hoping the first episode might like get a little more interesting, but you know, it's good to set the tone. I think it's going well. We met someone, so we're not alone, and we still haven't figured out who we're running from yet. That's an interesting mystery. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here, and hopefully my voice sounded okay, because that was the whole point of doing this. Okay, bye-bye!